Hello everyone, and welcome to YOLA IELTS, vocabulary for IELTS speaking. Our topic today is culture. What's culture, you might ask? Culture is what makes one group of people different from another, like how the Vietnamese are different from the Japanese. So what is culture? Well, culture is a way of life of a group of people. It's what makes the Vietnamese different from the Japanese. Let's use this word to learn cooler IELTS-ready words and collocations. When we change the noun culture to an adjective, we have cultural. And from this, there are a couple of words we can use to celebrate cultures of Vietnam. The first one is cultural diversity. You can use this word to explain that there are many different cultures within one country, or within the whole world. For example, to answer an IELTS question asking about Vietnam's culture, you can say, "We Vietnamese take pride in our cultural diversity, since we have more than 50 ethnic groups, each with its own heritage and culture." The second word that you should know is cultural values, which are the commonly accepted standards in a country or culture about what is right or wrong, acceptable or unacceptable, important or unimportant. In Part 2 IELTS speaking question, describe a foreign culture that you like. You can say, Japan actually shares many cultural values with Vietnam. Both cultures are, in my opinion, both family-oriented and quite strict in terms of hierarchy. A really important part of any culture is history, since history helps shaping the culture. From the base word history, we have the adjectives historic and historical, which can be used to create words like historical period or historic occasion, which both mean a time in history, but historical period is usually much longer than a historical occasion. If you want to talk about a really old historical period, there's two general words that can be used, antiquity and ancient, which both can be used to describe the period of thousands of years in the past. For example, Pharaoh or Caesar times. However, you need to be careful. We say ancient time, but time of antiquity. Their meaning is the same, but the way we form the sentence is a bit different. Now, to talk about history, you can use other cool words, such as triumph, which means a great success or achievement. On the other hand, we have tragedy, which means really sad event or situation. I think it's time to have an IELTS Speaking Ready Part 3 answer. If the examiner asks you, why do we learn history? Your answer can be, humankind, since antiquity, has written down what happened in the world. To us, that was ancient history, but to them, it was keeping record. Learning history didn't start with learning historical periods or historic occasions. The field of history started with keeping record and knowing what happened and is happening. Learning history is also the learning of humans' triumph and tragedy, which significantly shape our modern culture and society. In my opinion, we learn history firstly as a means of keeping track, and secondly, to understand our contemporary society. Another aspect of culture is events and celebrations, which are also common topics in IELTS speaking. Let's think about a happy celebration. What kind of words fit? We have jubilant, which means feeling extremely joyful and happy, and boisterous, which means loud and noisy. On the other hand, we have formal and serious events, which can be described with commemorative, which means to help people to respect an important person or event, and with solemn, which means serious and sincere. A+ effort, guys. You've learned so many new words. But there are many cooler IELTS-ready words to talk about culture. Your next step is to listen to some sample IELTS speaking responses and find as many culture-related vocabulary as possible. However, this is the end of our video on vocabulary to talk about culture. See you soon in our next theme.